Are you ready to get the hydrofacial glow? Loved in 87 countries across the world. It's not a facial, it's a hydrofacial. Now available across the UK. Visit hydrofacial.co.uk to find your nearest location.
Oh so did you learn anything from his technique then? That how to sort of do that and not move the muscles? And
You mean, did I learn anything from his technique, tips of which he may have gleaned from starring in 50 Shades? Sherry, I didn't delve that deep.
The weekend's almost here.
Yes. I know. Yes.
Friday.
It's weird though, isn't it? You know, with all this in the last 2 years, have you found that weeks and weekends, everything muddles into everything? You never know. You wake up, you go, and this day is what?
Yeah, exactly.
Never know which day it is. I go, oh my God, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
I never know what day it is.
I know,
it's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah,
really weird.
That's
so
going to come back.
I think it's the lockdown thing that's sort of hung over.
I think it is.
And we never knew what day it was in lockdown because every day just went into one.
Sherry, how's the bloating, darling?
I propelled myself down the canal the other day.
I'm proud of you.
I caught up with one of the canal boats and waved, and they waved back.
Did they?
Yes, it's given me a social life.
Like a lifeboat, darling.
Darling, how do the ducks take to you? Because I know you have an issue with all the ducks and
yes,
saving them.
I think they quite like me too, because they quack along quite happily, you know, with me, and I quack back, and so I've got a life back.
Good.
You're not quackers.
Not quackers.
Yes, she is.
Maybe I am quackers. That's what's helped.
She is.
Talking of somebody who is quackers, we have a gorgeous friend who we love to bits, Richard Arnold. Hello, my darling. Yeah, Richard. Richard, it was so funny when I read on your tweet that you'd taken over, you know, as manager of Manchester United, and so many people were going to say, "Oh, we're sorry that you've taken another job." Wasn't that hilarious?
I know. So I actually thought I'd retired. I am not the man or the CEO of Manchester United. Yes. Do you know? I knew about. So for those people who haven't heard the story, so. This very prolific chap in the world of sport and football has been assigned the job of being the chief executive officer of Manchester United. Now, I've actually met him before, briefly in the autumn when I went up to do a bit of keepy uppy with the lads and lasses on Soccer Aid. Right? Clearly, I was off games, and he's a very strapping and very impressive and formidable chap. And I knew he existed because a few years ago, I was invited to this do for a friend of mine who was friends with the outgoing boss of BT. So they were having this big do at the BT Tower. And it was full of lots of prolific people from BT Sport. So I walked in and I see the name tag, you know, on the table going Richard Arnold. And when I sat down, Gary Lineker was slack-jawed. There's an image. Robbie Savage as well, because they couldn't believe it was actually me there at this BT Sport, because they were expecting the other Richard Arnold. When he was announced as the new CEO, so my Twitter sort of went off, and we made a joke about it on air because it coincided with my 25 years on breakfast television. And your ladies, anyone watching will be familiar with the term clickbait, but the amount of friends of mine who didn't actually read beyond the headline, Richard Arnold announced his firing.
Hysterical.
Even pals, you know, celeb chums like Amanda Holden and Keith Lemondley, Francis, of course, has sort of dropped me a line going, "Oh, you know, we're really going to miss you," and all that. I had phone calls from people in Australia and America, and it was like, no. And as we all know, ladies, you don't retire yourself from television. You take the check for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So there you go. So yeah, it's been quite a giddy old week.
Darling, you love football, don't you?
I do love a bit of keepy uppy, yes.
Yeah. Oh, who's your favourite team, darling?
Football, darling. I thought that was something completely different. Keepy uppy.
Someone's fresh from Panto.
The truth will out.
Yeah, I remember growing up, I did have an Arsenal lampshade. I have no idea why, because my dear late dad, he was a Wolves supporter. And now where I live in London, obviously you're either Tottenham or Arsenal, mostly Arsenal really in my manner. But I don't really clearly follow the game unless there's a big tournament, and then I'll throw myself behind the boys. If it's a national event or an international event, I'm there with a sausage roll and a pint on the bar. No, I don't really follow the good game at all. But there you go, light and shade. But I do want the bonus round for this, for all of us, in fact, when we get to meet again and to have a refreshing beverage, is that I think Richard Arnold now has quite a lot of clout getting in restaurants, frankly, not just in Britain, but around the world. And they'll just be very disappointed when I turn up, because obviously Manchester United is the optics are it's the biggest team in the world, right? Wherever you go when you're abroad, they're all Man United fans. Or if you're in a cab or something, they say, "Oh, do you support football? You know, do you support Man United?" So some interesting adventures when I get to travel.
Can't wait, darling. Cannot wait.
You know, my mum suddenly became a fanatic about Man United when she was 80. And I don't know what it was. And she used to sit there with the Man U scarf on watching telly.
I love it.
No. Really upset. Yeah, honestly.
That's hysterical.
I don't know where it came from.
That's brilliant. Richard, what else are you doing, darling, besides having,
I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Belfast, you know, the film Belfast, which is...
Well, yes, I was going to watch that. Tell me about it.
Amazing. So it's based on Kenneth Branagh's upbringing, early years, coming of life tale back in the late 60s. And obviously it's set in Belfast with all the troubles and everything that went on there. But it's through the eyes of this young lad, Buddy. And I just watched it. I went to a screening and watched it because I'm interviewing Jamie Dornan, who plays Buddy's dad.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
It's directed and produced and written and theme tuned, I'm sure, by Sir Kenneth. But it is absolutely glorious. And it's you know, there's plenty of comedy in it, light and shade, as you can imagine, given the subject matter with the troubles as well. But because it's seen through the eyes of Buddy, there's that sort of magical element to it, you know. And I was just thinking, I remember my nan sort of dressed like Buddy's nan, who is played by Judi Dench, and the stockings, the outside toilet, you know, all those sort of things that you remember growing up. And that was sort of, as I say, magical to you then. But there's real grit to it, but there's a lot of heart as well. And the menace rubs alongside the innocence. But it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. So I urge you to go and see it. It really is a terrific, terrific piece of cinema. And it's been nominated and has won a slew of gongs already. So it's hotly tipped for Oscar glory as well.
It's in the cinema, darling. It's not on
Yes,
TV.
Yes. You can pay to go and see it.
Oh, really?
So you're back at work now, aren't you? You're back at work permanently indoors.
Yes, indoors. Yes, indoors.
Indoors, yeah.
Not in the shed, Cherie. I feel like I haven't spoken to you for ages, Cherie, because
I know. And how is the shed? Is the shed okay?
The shed is fine.
Is it all right?
The shed
is surviving?
is still standing. Yeah, the shed is still standing. And we'll be back in Dickiesden, I'm sure, when we do a few of these shows as the year rolls on. But yeah, the den does need a little bit of a light dusting. And the very thought of being stuck in there, like a lot of people who are still sort of being advised to work from home, the idea of sort of...
We'll come and do some dusting, darling, for you.
Please do, because the
skirting... You can be. I don't dust.
I love dusting.
The skirting boards need a little bit of work, Dee, but you'll have to bend right down to
a little bit of refurb, or is that your body, do you think?
might need a little bit of a tickle. I don't know. We could probably all do with a reboot in 2022. But I think I don't know about you, Liz, but there was a palpable sense of relief that you know, hopefully we've passed this peak and we can all
next week, isn't it? Next week it all stops. So hopefully. I mean, I was saying earlier though, I've bloated up like a balloon. I mean, it's just one of those things. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to have something, a little something that's pulled out of my body, and it goes.
What you need, Sherry? What you need is a prick.
A what?
A prick.
Yes.
No, if you're pricked, you
That's
know,
what we don't need,
come out.
No, I just need something to pull something out of a hole in my body so that it can come out.
Just take the cork out, darling, and let everything go free.
No, but if you prick it like a balloon,
use the liner.
Never mind. I thought that was
don't you say that.
Debbie, I didn't dignify it with a response.
Yes, I know.
But at least, Sherry, balloons, well, they don't have wrinkles, so we're all good. You look
Yeah.
amazing. I don't think you've
No.
at all,
No,
darling.
but you should see me naked, Richard. You die.
Oh, please. I mean,
No, you
all of
should.
us. In
No, you
our,
shouldn't.
no, but at our time of life, we've got bodies like melted candles, so we don't need to worry about
Oh.
that.
That's a
What
really good
happens
description.
when you look in that mirror and you go, what?
Who is that person?
Who is that person?
Who is that person? Well, at least you've
I
still got a
know.
reflection.
Well, you
Sherry.
don't, because you look fabulous, Richard.
You do,
Always.
darling.
Always,
Wrinkle
Tell me
free.
about Jamie Dornan, please.
Oh, I know. I interviewed him a few years ago for the first time for 50 Shades.
Oh.
Have you had a chance to catch The Tourist yet, which is on the Beeb and on iPlayer?
No.
But it looks
Which
brilliant.
Amazing. And I think, yeah, it was the day after New Year's, and we watched one, and then it's the first time in a long time where I said, well, we can always watch the other two tomorrow. And we ended up watching 6 in a row or however.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Finished the whole thing, and it's absolutely spectacular. And I'm very fond of sort of All Things Down Under, and it's set in Australia. Jamie's on the run. He's got amnesia. And again, it's a fantastic piece. There's been some cracking stuff to kick the year off with, to be quite honest. Some absolutely fantastic stuff.
Have you
well,
interviewed
you
him,
know.
Richard? Is
Yes,
he gorgeous?
I did interview him. And what was it like looking in a mirror, wasn't
Ah,
Of course.
it? He's one of those ones who sort of quietly smoulders, you know.
oh,
I
does
just-
Like
he?
you, darling. Like you.
Yeah. I get a sweat on every now and then, especially when I'm talking to you lot. But I don't think I've ever smouldered. And also, I have a sort of cartoony little face, but in repose, it's sort of, you know what I mean? Doesn't suit.
I
Whereas
know that face.
like that, it works, especially after 25 years, getting up in the morning, you know.
Darling, don't.
Oh my
So
goodness.
did you learn anything from his technique then? That you how to sort of do that and not move the muscles and
You mean, did I learn anything from his technique, tips of which he may have gleaned from starring in 50 Shades? Sherry, I didn't delve
You
that
meant that.
deep, but some people have got it, like you girls, powder kegs giving off sparks and chemistry, and some people don't. But you are very much aware. Like, for example, when you meet people, I think I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before. Like, I remember when I met Michael Douglas for the first time, and I thought, oh, now I get it. Now I get it.
oh really?
In the room, and you go, oh wow, yeah, that's charisma. Not to detract from, you know, how much charisma he has on the big screen, but I was like, oh, right, okay, yeah. So, and Jamie is, you know, he's very easy on the eye, and he's just a phenomenal actor. So yes,
Yeah,
That's how I felt when I met you, darling.
must be the doors.
I did.
Yes,
She's
the
got a lot
allure,
of happy
as
feels.
Miranda,
Yeah.
as Miranda says, he has the allure, whatever that is.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, he does. He does.
He does. Richard
But
Arnold does.
I've met some gorgeous men in my time. I remember meeting Paul
Short
Newman.
version, Sherry. Short version, darling. Short
Yes.
version.
Well, I met Paul Newman because I was doing this show in the West End, and he came round, and Joanna Woodward just spoke for him, and I just stared at him. He had violet eyes, very small, and I just stared at him, and he was so charismatic. You actually couldn't take your eyes off him.
Yeah.
You literally couldn't take your eyes, but he never spoke. Not a
Wow.
word.
Well, that's because he saw you, Sherry. That's
Spoke for
why.
him. She just spoke, and
Speechless.
Paul was very happy to be here, and Paul thought it was a really good show, and then they left, and I was still
Wow.
standing there with my mouth open. I met Paul Newman.
It's
Never
funny.
spoke. Never looked at anybody, but it didn't matter.
It's funny. I mean, obviously, clearly by definition, you know, they're on the silver screen, so they've got that sparkle anyway, or that USP, whatever you want to call it. And I remember walking into a cafe in Marylebone in West London, and it was that sort of feeling that you get where you go into the bathroom and you know that you're not alone, and there's a spider in the bath. And I remember walking into this cafe, and I was sort of slightly unsettled because I knew that there was a presence there, if you like, and I turned and it was Kate Blanchett, right? Oh my goodness me. I mean, she just looked ethereal.
Wow.
Everything about her was glowing. You know, it's so out of place given the cafe we were in, but
Wow.
she looked stunning, and I was like, yeah, you've got it as well. You've got it.
Yeah.
As well.
Some people have got it.
That is true.
Some people
we all
lost
have
it a long time ago.
Oh, Sherry, you've still,
Richard.
you've still got it, and it's nothing that Dr. Hillary can't sort out. Don't worry about it.
There you go. There you go.
Very true. I remember Bob Mitchum, on the other hand, and his wife, when I had lunch with them years and years ago with my mum and dad, and they were so ordinary. I mean, and he'd been married forever, Bob Mitchum, to Dorothy, like for really forever. And they told me, I think I've told you this before actually, but they told me when they got married in LA, but before he became famous, how in the house next door there was a smell of greens cooking. They told me that. Why would they tell me that? Weird.
To tell Sherry that people still had greens in those days.
Yeah.
Yes. Farting
The
greens.
bloating.
It's the bloating.
There was actually a documentary. There was a documentary about Robert Mitchum the other day, and he came on and he just said, "I didn't, why was I an actor? I don't know, no idea why I was that." He was so ordinary and so kind of had no idea why he'd even done the job in the first place.
That's
weird,
exactly
isn't it? When you see people, you go, "Whoa, no, don't say that."
Well, Harriet, you could always do the Venetians behind you, love, darling. Have you got a J cloth there? Just
I know, I've got
whip the J cloth around.
She's shining. I know. There we go. There we go.
Watching the Venetians.
Do the Venetians. So it's great, girls. The pubs are open, the restaurants are open, the theatres are open, the cinemas are open. This is good news.
It is.
Yeah.
We're out and we're out. So we've got to put a date in the diary where we can meet the real.
Yes, Dickie's day.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Yes.
I might just send along the other Richard Arnold, actually.
No, darling, we don't want any other Richard Arnold other than you.
No,
I'm sorry.
we
I have to
don't.
draw the line there.
Well, I'll be there and my card will be behind the bar. I love you, ladies. 2022. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Love
We
you.
love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye, gorgeous. Oh, what fun. So
Oh, I
who's
love
coming
that.
next week, darlings?
Oh, yes. Well, we've got a wonderful, wonderful guest. Sanjeev Bhaskar, who's a good friend of mine. He's coming back. He's
Yes, good friend of
hilarious.
ours.
Wonderful.
Ours, Steve. Good friend of ours.
Oh, of course.
Could you
A good
rephrase?
friend of ours,
Thank you.
Sanjeev Bhaskar, is coming
Fabulous.
back. He's actually
Yay.
an honorary Wonderbird, isn't he?
Yes,
Sanjeev.
absolutely. And the lovely CC Sammy, who is an extraordinary vocal coach on the X Factor,
Wow.
all in America, in this
Ooh.
country, is coming in as well.
That's interesting.
And
Very.
we also have Sam Giles
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
next.
bless her.
All
Lovely
about
Sam.
the books. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we've got an amazing week next week. That is fantastic.
have- That
Well,
is
see you
fantastic.
then.
Great week next week.
See you
Brilliant.
next week.
Okay, see you
everybody.
then, girls.
Have a great
Have a nice
weekend.
weekend. And
Bye.
Tinkerbell says goodbye too. Bye.